Most home sellers think negotiating their real estate agent's compensation is about cutting the percentage. Is that your mindset? I think then you're probably already playing the wrong game, because compensation isn't just a fee. It's the investment that you pay a real deal realtor, someone like myself. What I do is I take that money, I fund the marketing, I fund the staging, the negotiating, the pre-home inspection, the fabulous photos, and once all the fees are paid, that'll determine how much money you actually keep when you sell. But here's the part you need to hear. If you focus too much on shaving 1% off the commission, you could lose 10% or more of your home's equity. That's tens of thousands of dollars just gone. So stay with me until the end, because I'm going to break down the smart questions you need to ask about compensation and some red flags going on right now in this market that most sellers are missing, and how to make sure you walk away with every dollar you deserve. Don't flush money down the toilet. And also, please subscribe to my channel. Help me out, especially if you're feeling you're getting some value. So what's the big truth now about compensation in this market? A lot of talk around it, right? I want to get one thing straight about it though. It is negotiable. Realtor's fee is negotiable. It always has been and always will be. But here's the part most people miss, that compensation is also an investment in getting your home sold for top dollar. And the best listing specialists are ones who have a listing-based business. They breathe, sleep, and eat home sellers. Like me, I wake up and talk about home sellers. I never talk about buyers. These are real deal agents like myself. Agents who actually know how to market and negotiate at the highest level. They're worth every penny because they usually net you so much more at the closing table. The National Association of Realtors, though, they have data here that shows that homes marketed by full-service agents consistently sell for 6 to 10% more than homes handled by a discount agent or do-it-yourself sellers. Think about it. If you have a house that's $500,000, that could be a $30,000 to $50,000 swing, way more than any discount you might negotiate off compensation. I remember a seller in my earlier days who I chose not to work for, and they went with a discount agent to save 1%. I told them that my negotiating skills are worth the $6,000 you'd be saving. Well, that agent did zero, no staging, used their cell phone for photos, threw it on the MLS, and probably crossed their fingers. And the house had sat for months and eventually sold for, I would say, $35,000 to $40,000 under market value. That seller thought that they saved $6,000 in compensation. In reality, they lost $35,000. There's no savings there. That's a disaster. And also, this seller was not going to spend any money on staging and just leave the house the way it is, because the discount agent said, "Your home is perfect," blah, 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 blah. You know, like, oh, it's so nice. And to get them to list with, that's what they do. They come in, these agents, and everything looks great because they don't know any better. They may only sell 1 or 2 houses a year. And that's why you're listening to this channel, because this will not happen to you if you keep listening and watch my videos. I am just telling it the way it is. Next, I want to go over what questions you can ask versus asking the realtor, can you lower your rate? Because really, honestly, the real power move isn't asking, can you drop your fee? I mean, real estate agents like myself will just kind of walk out. The smart move is asking, what do I get for the compensation that I'm paying, that you're charging me? Or show me the value you provide versus your competitors. Or how are you different from your competitors? Now, there are questions you can ask a realtor before you even come to your home, and then you waste 2 hours of your day with this person who you weren't going to hire. So what you need to do is use my questions. I have a link below, and my entire hire an agent process. I have the link at the end of this video on the end screen. It's a whole video. It talks from start to finish how you do that, because you don't want to bring realtors in your house until you have interviewed them on the phone. Many of my YouTubers tell me after they didn't use my questions and they went through the whole video, they interviewed 6 people on the phone, and no one even came close to the strategies and process that I teach my future home sellers here on YouTube. So instead of asking, can you drop your fee, there's other questions you should be asking instead to make sure you are getting the biggest bang for your buck. Another way of asking would be, how will you market my home differently than the average agent? Because marketing isn't just about tossing your listing on the MLS and then it'll feed into Zillow. Ask for specifics. For example, will they use professional photographers who know how to capture angles, lighting, and details that buyers subconsciously connect with? How long have you worked with such photographer? Did you train the photographer on the angles? Do you come to the photo shoot? What is the most important moment in the home sale preparation? That's a great question. What is the most important moment? You know what the most important moment, all this work you're doing before the home goes on the market, is the photo shoot. You're doing all this work for your photo shoot because now it's showtime. And how your home shows online, that's what gets the big bucks. Also, you can ask them, do you include drone shots? Do they do drones? Spend the extra $400 or $500 that show off your neighborhood, your lot, the curb appeal. I mean, for some, it's not good to show the drone photos. For most of my listings, they are. And ask about the walkthrough videos or the virtual tours. Ask them, do you do that? Because that allows out-of-town buyers to imagine themselves in the home. And when I say walkthrough, I mean the 360 tours where you go from room to room, you push the button and it takes you from one room to the other. They feel like you're in your home. That's so hot. Also, you can ask them, do you use AI to highlight possibilities in your home? What do you mean by possibilities? We've watched a couple of my videos. I show how I show floors refinished, but they're not refinished, but we're gonna give them a credit for it. So showing how it could look. So buyers see that, they'll get it at settlement, it's just it's not looking like that right now. That's a pearl, guys. Write that one down. Another question to ask is, do you showcase my home on Zillow? That's important. That costs $300 to $400, and they get the 3D tour, the photos on top, and also what's really good about the showcase is that the realtor gets all the leads, not some other realtor from another office. The realtor actually gets the leads because their name is right there, contact agent. If it's not, you'll notice most listings in Zillow, it just says contact an agent, but it's not the agent. Or check to see from their past listing, do they snap some blurry iPhone photos and call it a day? You know, because buyers make up their minds in the first 10 seconds. I think it's 2 seconds online. If your agent can't wow buyers before they even step foot in the door, you're leaving a ton of money on the table because you'll have tire kickers coming in. Another question, a good one. What's your strategy for generating demand? Say it like that. Don't say, what is your marketing? Say strategy for generating demand. And expand on that, demand for the target market. How do you find the target market? Something like that. This one separates the real deal agents from the rookies. And you know, it's really hard to find a real deal agent. I know it's hard because I look for you guys. My YouTube sellers are asking me to find realtors, and 50% of the time it's really hard to find. I can find someone like me, if not as hard for me, it's harder for you. When I do, if I can't find somebody who's perfect, I'll train them to do the things, the pre-home inspection, and how to do the room by room and the staging, and how to fight all the home selling sharks in my book, Home Selling Sharks. So those are the things that we do. We vet the people for you. Next question. Are they creating a pre-listing buzz with coming soon campaigns and social media teasers and email blasts to buyer networks? That's a real good one. Another one is, do they use staging psychology to make buyers feel like your home is the one? Do they try doing that to capture that emotional sense? Because you want to do that because you want to capture the emotional before they think about it logically. They click the button, show me this house. These are great questions, guys. Another question would be, can you show me how you've priced homes strategically? Do you price them under market to spark a bidding war? Or do you let the home sit and then drop the price? That's a good question to ask. And look at them straight in the eye. Don't say anything else after that and let them talk. Because they'll be like, is this a trick question? All agents try to price homes too high to get the listing and then drop it because they have a contract usually for 6 months to a year. I feel, and I've been doing this for a long time, the right strategy isn't about getting one buyer, it's about creating the competition. So buyers will fight over your home. And that's where the extra 20, 50, 100,000 comes from. I've been through many ups and downs in real estate in the last 30 years. And my father, he was a real estate broker and a custom home builder. I've been in real estate actually since I was 5. I was showing customers around these sample homes my father built. And that's, I think, how the model home mindset came in, my book, Model Home Mindset. I think that's how I developed this concept of showing your home as best as you can, like a model home, and painting, just make it look fresh and new. Just change out some knobs and things like that. I have another question. How do you negotiate when offers come in? Tell me about your negotiating strategy process. They'll be like, negotiating strategy process? Yeah, and it should be written down. Like all of our stuff's written down. All of our systems are written down. That's huge. That's where most agents just fall flat. They're like, what's that? Because what I have is a canvas method. It's in my book, Model Home Mindset, where I create a narrative about what's going on. analyzing every angle and anticipating objections. It ensures that we secure the best outcome. But here's to me, a pretty shocking thing is that most agents don't negotiate at all. They just forward the offers to their seller and they say, which one do you want? Or let's pick this one, whatever's easier for them. And other thing is most agents only list about one house a year. The average agent only sells 3 homes a year, and they also work with buyers. So what does a buyer agent know about marketing, pre-inspection, staging, photography, negotiating, coming soon, pricing? And the list continues. It's not just one thing. You need a listing agent with a listing-based business who knows how to leverage escalation clauses properly and understands how to play offers against each other without scaring buyers away. And also can explain how to balance price, terms, and the contingencies and timing to maximize your position. You know, what's important to you. Because someone who's gone through the process hundreds of times and they are a listing agent who has a listing-based business, all buyer leads in my office go to a buyer team. Find agents who don't work with buyers. I guess, of course, if they call on your listing, you know, a real deal agent does not do dual agency. He only works for the seller. And that's another topic for another video. But this part of the process alone can swing your net proceeds by tens of thousands. Can you see that? Another question I just thought of. Can I see examples of homes where you beat the market average? What is that? Well, you don't want to settle for promises or slick words. You have to ask for proof. Show me what you've done. How many have you done? Show me all of them. Do you sell homes faster than the neighborhood average? If the average is 140, we were doing it in 26 days. Do you do that? Do they get over asking price when other homes are sitting unsold? What is your average days on the market versus the market average? Do you have some before and after photos of homes that you staged and examples of how you prepped homes and staged it and turned an okay home into a multiple offer home? Yes, before and after photos. We put a slideshow together after every listing sells. It's kind of a fun little thing, a little video. I love doing before and afters. I have to do another one of those videos. And if there's anything kind of video that you want me to do or any topic you want to talk about, let me know below because I will do it on demand. Anyone will say, I'll work hard for you. The question is, can you prove you've done it before? If you go to get heart surgery, you go to a heart surgeon, you want to make sure they've done it many times, right? Because what happens is they know when things happen, have turbulence happens, they can overcome that. And remember, if you're looking for a Real Deal agent, just go to realdealagent.com. And then you can sign up and we'll have a chat and then I'll go through your house and I can tell you more about that, but I can find that agent for you. So what does this compensation you pay to your selling broker or your listing broker actually cover? I think a lot of sellers don't realize that the agent's compensation isn't just a paycheck, it covers the upfront investment and years of experience. I think for me, it's a lot of the years of experience and the upfront investment, how long I'm working with that person. Because there's marketing muscle, there's the staging, professional photography, 3D tours, videos, flyers, thousands of dollars spent before your home is even listed. And then you have the negotiation expertise, which you can't even put a dollar figure on. Because a strong negotiator can squeeze 20, 50, 60, I don't know how much more out of a right buyer. I had a listing that they came in at 1.2, was listed for 1.35, and I got them up $100,000. Yay me, yay seller. And then there's what happens after the sale. You're paying for that transaction management, coordinating inspectors, contractors, title companies, buyers, lenders, and keeping the deal from falling apart. And also market knowledge. People always ask me, when should I list my home? Like giving you strategy, like a financial consultant would do. This is one of your largest assets. What price to start out? How do you position your home against the competition? All those things. And realistically, on a $600,000 house, as I said earlier, 1% is $6,000. The poor pricing or marketing strategy could cost you $60,000. So tell me, which one matters more? Think about it. Well, there are some red flags in compensation, so I want to have this conversation right now about it. 3 I can think of off the top of my head. First, a red flag for you would be an agent who immediately drops their compensation or just to win your business. If they fold on their own paycheck that quickly, how do you think they'll handle your equity when a buyer starts pushing? So if you say, oh, could you do it for 5%? And they say, sure. People ask me to reduce my commission, I just say no. I know it sounds funny, but that's what I say. I just say no. But we do talk about it. I mean, I want people to see. I rarely get asked that question because most of my business is by referral, but you can ask. and you'll find out. And that's a good question to ask people on the phone right off the bat what they say. Then you'll know whether you should bring them into the house or not. Okay, the next red flag I would think would be called vague answers. So if the agent really can't show you like a roadmap, to show you all their systems, their processes, their marketing timeline, really not working with an expert. That's just somebody that's just an agent who wants to sell a house and has no expertise. And if they bring out their laptop and show you some shiny presentation, find out if the marketing is the house that they sold. Because a lot of times they get stuff from the office, it's just a canned presentation that everybody uses to go out. That's what the brokers do. Ask them to show you their past 20 sales or the last year of sales. Show you all the before and after photos, the price it listed at, the price it sold, so the price list to price sale ratio, and the days on the market, things like that. Most agents haven't sold 20 listings in the past 3 to 10 years, let alone the last 6 months. So right there is a big red flag. You can figure that out. And next red flag is no track record. If they can't show you past listings where they sold faster, higher, neighborhood average, things like that, I think you're gambling with your biggest asset, guys. Ask for 3 references, a list of all the homes they've sold. Just listings, not buyers. Buyers mean nothing to this equation. And links to each one, explaining what low-cost fix-ups they did to fix up the home, and how much money they made to sellers. Those are questions to ask. But there is an emotional side sellers don't talk about, so we're going to talk about that now. Being real, talking about money is a little bit uncomfortable for people. A lot of home sellers feel guilty even bringing up compensation, saying, can you reduce your fee? Thinking that they're being rude. Don't feel guilty. This is a business. A great agent welcomes the conversation because they know their value. They want you to feel confident about what you're investing in. Remember, you're not trying to nickel and dime someone. You're trying to make sure that you net the most amount of money possible when you sell your house. It's not awkward, it's just smart. You gotta ask the question. Okay, I want to show you this story. I have these photos all ready for you. A real world story. So my seller, Loretta, she called me after another agent told her that she should take an offer of $620 cash offer immediately. Just take this offer. It was in the height of the market a couple of years ago. She almost did, but she felt something was right, and she called me in because I had already been with somebody she was going to have sell the home. But this guy came up and he said, I only charge you half commission and all this other stuff. I said, hold on, let me stage this house for you. Let me fix a few things and let's launch this properly. So what do? Well, it needed some light fixtures updated, but mostly some power washing and painting the rooms and painting the patio, things like that. So let me show you some photos. All right, here's the living room when I walked through the door, and the other agent said they should put the house on the market like this, with all the stuff out. So here's the living room from the angle from the door, and then the next picture is looking out the window. So it was the same room, but from 2 different views. That was before. Now look at these 2 after pictures. Here's the after, and then I painted it with a Revere pewter, and the after facing the window. Much different. Took stuff out, did a lot of great stuff. I think we even put a new carpet down there. Next, let's go into the dining room. As you can see from this first picture here, it was the before picture, is dark olive paint. And we put our favorite paint color at the time, which was Revere pewter, and it looks like this. This is a fabulous picture. It feels bright and airy. Wonderful picture. Next, I want to show you the kitchen. So the kitchen was kind of like a galley kitchen, but the little breakfast nook. So here's the picture of the breakfast nook before, and you say, what was wrong with it? Well, the walls, even though you couldn't really see it, but they were kind of scratched up, and it was like a funky color. So what we did was we lightened it up, the breakfast nook, and it looks like this. As you can see, it's light and airy, and it looks just so much better. And the whole house just popped. Next, we moved to the master bedroom, primary bedroom. And here's a picture of that bedroom with that color paint. Wasn't too nice. And then we painted it our color, and that looked really bright. And next, the bathroom had like that same olivey, whatever color that is. And here's a picture of the primary bathroom before, and here's a picture of it after. Much different, right? And next I want to show you what was in the closet in the basement. In the basement closet, there was this picture. This is the picture I took while I was walking through the house. It was mold on the walls, and it was the whole length. There's 3 more pictures of that. I'll only show you the one here. The whole length of the wall was like this. So I had my contractor come out and cut it out. And unfortunately, I don't have a picture to show you of inside the closet, but here's a picture of the basement. Behind that closet doors was that mold, and those closet doors we painted because they had mold on it too. So it looks much better. And the last thing that we did a couple other things to change out some light fixtures, but the painting in the back, the patio, looking out the window, I took a picture, and the patio and the steps were just really dark and needed severe power washing. So not only power washed it, we also had our contractor paint. And here's what the pictures look like. I have two pictures of the after. This picture showing you how bright and it's all clean and neat. And then the other picture facing the backyard. So after it was painted, it looks fabulous, as you can see from the photos. Fresh and bright. Well, it went on the market at $649,999. That was a Friday. And by Monday, I had an open house on Sunday. I had a packed open house. Monday, we had multiple offers, and I leveraged them up against each other. A buyer came up, I got the highest bidder up to $720,000 cash. That was $100,000 more than the first offer. But the home didn't have central air, and most of the homes in the area did, but we got an estimate for it, and we marked it as saying yes, having central air, because they were going to get it as a credit or get it installed before settlement. So that number 720 was the net after the central air quote of $13,000 was taken off. So you can see that you can market things, negatives, as a positive. Do you think that my seller, Loretta, cared about how much money she was paying me? Because you just say that she knew of other realtors who were paying 5%, but I'm saying that extra 1% is all the marketing. So that's the difference. She didn't care after I got her $100,000 more. And I have a ton of stories like that. So Diane, you're asking me, what's a smart way to negotiate compensation? How do I negotiate? How do I make sure I have the right person working for me? So if you're going to negotiate compensation, here's how to do it smart. First thing to do is know your range, okay? But don't obsess over the number. Do your research, talk to a few agents on the phone first, and then bring in 2 or 3 people that you felt answered the questions right, and give them all your stats ahead of time about the house. Make up a sheet about your house. So all they have to do when they come in, knowing about everything about your house. Now, a good agent would ask you all the questions, but so have a sheet ready. And then make sure they send you all their marketing to you in an email after the appointment. So you have them come in, you expect them to go back and write up an email about the price they think they can get for your house. Also, what low-cost fix-ups do they suggest? So then you get them to write it down instead of them talking about it. And you know, it's really hard to do. I'm an agent, and sometimes people ask me to do that, and we do that, but for the most agents don't have that in their wheelhouse. The person who will shine will be the real deal agent, is what I'm trying to say, when you ask them to write it down after they come to your house. Don't expect them to give you a price there. If they're trying to give you a price before they leave, then you know that's not the right agent, because I never give a price when I'm at a house. They have to hire me first, because I'm not going to go through all that, and all they take is a price of a house really high that someone told them the house is worth $800 when it's only really worth $650. I can't compete against that. That's a lie. My goal isn't to get a listing, it is to sell the house and tell the seller the truth. Next thing to do, a smart thing to do, is to ask for value, not discounts. So instead of shaving a percent, ask, will you include staging, drone photography, or video tours in your compensation? Also make sure in their number they're paying for the pre-home inspection. I know the strategy behind it. Anybody can get their home pre-inspected, but really the hot thing, and 90% of it, is what to do with that report once you get it and how to spin it to potential buyers. It's really an art, and we have done so many of them. My nephew Bobby does them, and he does a great job at it. And number 3 is compare your return on investment, not your price tag. So who's going to put your money in your pocket at closing? That's who you hire. Look at the net, not the gross number. And 4th thing is, make sure you hire a listing specialist, someone who has a listing-based business. Don't hire a buyer's agent to do a listing-based job, because buyer agents dabble in listings. Selling requires different muscles, like marketing and staging and negotiating and under pressure. That's what you're looking for, because a lot of agents, if you talk to most agents today, very few of them say they don't work with buyers, very few. It's hard to find, I know. I try to vet people all over the United States for my YouTube fans, but it is very difficult. I know it is, because I do it. So how do you find the right agent? And I have the great referral program. So if you're watching this and thinking, well, I don't live in Philadelphia or the suburbs in South Jersey. That's where I market. I'm in Philly, suburbs, and South Jersey. I can help you there. But if you're not in my market, don't worry, because of my program, this fabulous program, realdealagent.com, where I personally match you with an agent who knows how to do this right. I vet them, make sure they're listing specialists with a listing-based business, and confirm they've got the systems to protect your equity. I talk to them a certain way and they talk to me back, and I know I have an expert. Because it's not about finding the cheapest option, it's about finding the agent who will fight for your money. So if you're selling anywhere in the United States, just go to realdealagent.com and I'll help you connect with a fabulous agent. So how does it work? Well, people ask me all the time. First, I'll have a conversation, a 15-minute call, kind of go over the program, and then I'll actually schedule a time to walk through your home virtually with your phone. You can show me your house. And we go over things, and I go over tell you some things you could do before selling. So I have all that information. All I have to do is find the agent. When the agent comes over, you can go right to work. You don't have to do all that hours and hours of negotiating and all that good stuff. I'll do it for you. And we also stay with you throughout the whole process. So when it comes to agent compensation, the wrong question is, how low can you go, right? The right question is, how much can I actually net at closing? What are you going to do that's going to net me more money at closing? I would think of compensation as an investment in protecting and maximizing your equity. Because a weak agent, I think it'll cost you really dearly, while a strong one can put tens of thousands more in your pocket. At the end of the day, it's really not what you pay, it's what you keep. And I want you to keep every dollar possible. So make sure you walk through the hiring process, understanding this. I have an awesome video that I've done, and you don't want to flush, like I said, thousands of dollars down the drain. So you want to check out this video, how to find a realtor who will actually make you money. And I take you from like the interview questions, phone interview, to bringing them into your house. It takes you the whole thing. It's the entire process from start to finish. You have to watch it and like my video and subscribe to my channel, please.